Step 1, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Yo, set your affirmations, aspirations. I got shit to do, the aftermath of preparation. Good food, good mood, blood in circulation. One step at a time, yeah, that's how you make it. Set a goal you control and the steps you take them. I try to pick one thought, have some concentration. And if I make a mistake, it's called education. I try to do this every day, call it replication. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 I think there's a reason though. Ups and downs, just like every different season, yo. Sometimes I'm high, other times I'm barely breathing, though. I always gotta fight and hide from the demons, yo. Negative thoughts are poison, they rot. Head full of flies, so here come the clouds. They'll never stop unless I can swap all the bad for the good in my head when I'm lost. Yeah, so I'ma fake it till I make it. Positive thoughts are overtaken, I got patience. One day at a time is how you operate a cadence. A flow, you grow, you show yourself a foundation. Stay away from all the shit that causes temptation. I know that I like to do it cause it's sensation. I live my life in my head like a narration. Don't expect greatness, do my best, man, I'll take it. Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step 2, get some good, some food in you. Step 3, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step 4, everybody just do your thing.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Coffee Club crew. I'm Bullhorn Betty, and we're covering true crime, raw, real, and unfiltered. This morning, the case of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, Savannah Guthrie's mother, is more volatile now than ever before. We have a masked intruder on camera. We have a Bitcoin ransom note with on-chain activity. We have a subject pulled over in the middle of the night, questioned and released. And we have family under a microscope as law enforcement publicly say, no suspects, while big-name media hints to so-called prime suspects. Nancy was dropped off at her Tucson home around 9:48 after dinner with her daughter Annie and son-in-law Tommaso. By noon the next day, deputies are at the same house finding blood that's later confirmed to be hers and a missing camera from the front door. Her devices go dark. Her pacemaker connection drops. No one has seen Nancy since. The FBI has put up a $50,000 reward. The Pima County Sheriff's Department says they have no official suspects, no identified getaway car, and they're begging for video from anyone in that corridor. At this time, investigators are back at Annie Guthrie's home for a second search, towing vehicles, going over the property, and going door to door canvassing the area for a second time. Online, it's a storm. TikTok, Reddit, Facebook, X. People are naming names, posting side-by-side photos, and turning Ashley Banfield's maybe a prime suspect quote about the son-in-law into case closed memes, while other outlets quote investigators saying flatly, we do not have any suspects. There's even a fact check out this morning debunking a viral fake post claiming Tommaso's house is barricaded by police. That's been pumped out of spam networks in Vietnam. So here's what we're doing today. We're going to walk through the latest developments on Tommaso and the rest of the Guthrie family. We're going to walk through the latest developments on Tommaso and the rest of the Guthrie family. We're going to break down what law enforcement has actually said on the record, press conference, TV hits, written statements versus what's rumor. We'll look at the Bitcoin ransom note, the wallet activity, and ask, is this a real kidnapping for ransom or a smokescreen? And in the back half of the show, we're going to dig into theories, family adjacent offenders, unknown local predators, or pure extortion hoax riding on Savannah's name. Everybody is innocent until proven guilty. We do accuse from a public court opinion, but that's after facts have reared their ugly head, because we analyze and we go back and talk about what's documented, what's coming out from named officials, and what's coming from anonymous sources in social media. And I want to hear from you in chat. Tell me which theories make sense to you and what questions you still have. You can also send those to bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Grab your coffee, hit that like button, and share this stream so people who actually live in the Tucson and the Foothill area can hear the call for videos and tips. And let's get into segment 1. What's new today in the Nancy Guthrie case? Welcome, guys. Again, I'm Bullhorn Betty. We cover true crime, and we're covering the case of Nancy Guthrie. Good morning, Coffee Club. I'm gonna have to take that, I'm gonna have to take that loop off because it looped. I didn't mean for it to loop. Good morning, guys. I'm Bullhorn Betty. Thank you for being here. What a crazy ride we had yesterday. Holy smokes! Holy smokes! So yesterday, which started off what all appeared to be basically uneventful, Then all of a sudden we start hearing from, one little source saying, we know what happened. We're going to be hearing a breakdown of everything in the next 24 to 48 hours. Mike Ruiz from Fox News dropping that we're about to start getting some photos of the potential suspect. And then bam, this is what we got up here. All of a sudden, right after I'm done making that video, we start having these photos coming out, being released by the FBI in the Nancy Guthrie case. And we're like, okay, now we see what's going on here. Our minds start thinking, because when we first learned about this case, an 84-year-old grandmother snatched out of her home ransom notes. We're listening to something that seems like it's made for movies, and here it is. It doesn't really go with real life in America. And so many of us are scratching our heads, trying to make heads or tails of what in the world is going on. And then this. We thought it was Tommaso. We thought Annie and them were possibly, because of this this law enforcement source that says he may be a suspect or a prime person, right? And so we all lost our ever-loving mind, and all of our common sense, just kind of went out the window. We now have a target. Now we're diving into his life. But nobody stopped and pulled back the curtain and said, whoa, pump the brakes, sister. Maybe it's not him. Maybe it's somebody else. So we kept trying our very hardest on here on the Bullhorn Betty channel to keep all of you guys engaged, and not just engaged, but engaged with the right information. Could it have been Tommaso? Of course it could have been. Last person to see him, family over there. They have a $650,000 home. We're looking at him. They're the low man on the totem pole as far as finances. Maybe they asked mommy for money and she said no, right? Then we start hearing rumors popping off that the Annie Guthrie and her husband Tommaso, they don't have a very good relationship, and maybe he's wanting the payday when he gets a divorce, and he needs grandma out of the way so he can get his entitlements, right? So there was a lot of stuff being thrown around, but everybody just automatically started focusing on Tommaso. And we here on the Bullhorn Betty channel, we're telling you, look at him. Let's side-eye him. He was the last person to see him alive, but let's not stay focused on him. Let's not put all of our eggs in this basket. And so we were kind of holding back. We were saying, somebody that looks like that. I can tell you, I don't know who this guy is. My opinions of this case now have significantly changed in light of these videos. Okay. I'm in a much different mindset. This is somebody that feels comfortable, in my opinion, around houses doing this because he's done it before. Okay, so now my opinion, my theories, who I think is responsible, has wildly changed because we have new information, new factual information that now has changed my perspective. Okay? No, I do not believe this is... I'm starting to believe that this guy is an idiot. Not a smart dude. Not a smart dude at all. But not somebody directly related to this family. And here's why. I told you guys yesterday when we started observing the videos of him moving, I'm like, he doesn't even know the camera's here. That doesn't sound like somebody that is familiar with this home. This is new information. We're seeing how this person is behaving. Okay? We're watching this person behave. It's very disturbing. Absolutely, Aletha. Absolutely, without a doubt. This entire case is highly disturbing, okay? I can tell you, when I saw these photos, personally, my heart dropped into my stomach. I won't lie to you. Because even though we don't know these people, I think that the empathy and sympathy that we have allows us to feel real feelings for this family. I think it allows us to feel real scared for this, because I'm telling you, I feel these emotions, okay? So I know if I'm feeling these emotions, my audience has to be feeling these emotions, right? We're looking at this case, like a lot of people that came over to our show to cover the Sebastian Rogers case. What was the attraction to that case? A lot of the people that came over here because they had an autistic child or grandchild, and that story resonated with many of us, right? Especially the families that had autistic children, because they saw their child in Sebastian Rogers and they wanted to help. And I think that this case is much, I mean, even though Savannah is well known to the world, at the end of the day, I think that we as a public have humanized this Nancy Guthrie, where in many sense she looks like our grandmother. And we're feeling as if she is our grandmother, right? America's grandma. America's grandma has been abducted. And that's kind of, I think, why we're all so tuned in, why this case, just the idea starts giving you goosebumps, just seeing this. It unnerves you. It unnerves you because your mind goes straight to the fear factor. What did she go through? This looks scary. We're adults, we're young. I think I'm 10 foot tall and bulletproof, and this scares me. This scares me to my very fabric, folks. Maybe somebody paid him to do this. Maybe it's possible, MK. It's very possible. We don't know, right? We don't know. Betty, do you have pics of the electrician? I do not. So, Lori, if you'd like to send those over to me, bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Guys, if you guys have any evidence that you guys collected along the path, even if you don't know if it's true or not, send that to me. We'll fact find it. We'll fact find it true in real time here, so at least you guys know, right? So make sure you guys are sending me. We're getting a lot of emails on this case, so I thank you all for your interest. And I know that we are breaking this case down, properly. You guys keep coming here every day. You're very appreciative. We've been trying to really, I'm one of the first people, if I truly believe somebody is responsible based on factual information that we've uncovered or that have been uncovered for the public, I have no problem standing on a hill and saying XYZ, I believe XYZ murdered this person. You guys have watched me do it for years. We have a high batting average. We make mistakes on this channel, but at the end of the day, our batting average on this channel, that means what we think happened and what actually happened, are very high. We have very good averages here on being accurate, more accurate than many other channels. It doesn't mean that we're 100%. I don't believe in perfection, but I think that it's important to note because in this case, if I truly believed it was Tommaso, I would have jumped all in on it. But there was just something about the case, about Tommaso, about this family, about my understanding of elderly people and the fact that elderly people typically have that one family member that always lags behind to take care of them. And that appeared to be Annie and her family. And so I wasn't ready to jump all in and accuse this family that had the most contact with this woman just yet. I felt that there was some type of connection, but it might be at arm's length. That's why I kept referring back. Like he does meet a lot of the criteria we're looking for. However, and that was one of my assessments. Now we're getting to see this right here. Okay. And now that we see this right here, this changes things. This is factual evidence right here that somebody that was masked went into this house that's carrying a gun that's not even fitting in the holster. So we're not talking about a rocket scientist here. Okay. We're talking about a dumbass. Okay. This right here is a dumbass. Okay. This is the Bullhorn Betty channel, and we run dumbasses out of this country and into jail cells. Right? So I'm not saying that this is this massive hoaxer and ransom guy. I think this guy here is a normal bred criminal, a dumbass that has done this before. I no longer believe the family is responsible. I no longer believe that people in and around this family is responsible. I think that for me, I have enough information now to step back, relieve this family of this, I don't even know what, lynching, so to speak, and step back and say, we've had a lot of activity going on around here. Now, maybe Tucson doesn't want to talk about it. We've heard about some of the stuff before about people, it's dark out there. It's dark out there. This is a prime target for anybody that wants to target elderly people. A lot of elderly people live in that community. They have no lights. They have stupid ordinances like light pollution ordinances. I'm sorry, guys. I don't care whether you like me, you like my politics or anything. I'm just a true blue American that knows law and order. Okay? And when you have stupid ordinances that prevent you from being safe, I'm going to call you a dumbass. Okay? If that's offensive, I am so sorry. Okay? I'm so sorry. My suggestion is if I offend you, is to go to your meetings and tell them we don't want no stinking noise, light pollution affecting our criminal justice system. You know, if you're gonna have ordinances like that, just be smart enough to make sure you tell your board of county commissioners. Let's make sure law enforcement can still do their job. In the noise pollution ordinance is effective at or until there is loss of life, major medical emergency, right? So we need to make sure that we're putting, if you guys want those stupid, I call it stupid, sorry, I probably shouldn't, I don't want to offend people. Ridiculous, maybe that's not, anyways, you know, ordinances, if you're going to put ordinances in place, make sure that it doesn't affect your law enforcement, okay? Because let's face it, you never know when your number's up. Okay, I fund my law enforcement like they're going to have to help Bullhorn Betty. Okay, what kind of equipment, if Bullhorn Betty got lost out there in the real world, what would Bullhorn Betty want her sheriff to be equipped with? Okay, that's my starting off number. Okay, if we need helicopters, boats, submarines, come let me know. Okay, because I'm stalking my sheriff. As if they've got to use those resources for moi, okay? And I think that if maybe we got a little more selfish and we start thinking about what's in our best interest instead of everybody or everything else, I think we might find that we don't really agree with light pollution ordinances if they're going to affect, you know, trying to find a grandmother out there in the wild. I know we're being a little sarcastic and a little satire-y and stuff like that, and I get it, but it's only to kind of get your attention to, you know, not to be so, right? But at the end of the day, we can all agree that this woman deserved better, right, than being told they can't turn the lights on when she's missing. Okay, that is a big thing for me. And I think reasonably for America and Americans, I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that is across the board. Everybody is going to want to make sure if something happens to them, there's lights to find them. Okay, and I think that we're getting a little off topic here with it, but you know, at the end of the day, I want to make a point. If you guys are going to make these things, make sure your law enforcement can still work with these ordinances, because it could be you. And just remember that, okay? I don't do a lot of things perfect, okay? But when it comes to law enforcement, follow Betty's lead. Okay, stock your law enforcement like they got to come look for you or yours, okay? Because I guarantee if you start changing your way of thinking and saying, what will I need if I got lost or if somebody came and tried to eat me, right? I think if we just change your thinking just a little bit, just a little tweak, I think we can all get on board with, we need funding for something like this. We can't defund our law enforcement. Why? Because it's not about the traffic tickets. It's about these type of cases right here, right? The Nancy Guthries. That's what it's about. It's not about the traffic tickets. It's not about the, you know, the petty bullcrap. It's about the big ticket items. This is a big ticket item that the whole world looked into, and we're seeing all these balls being dropped. And then, of course, we have a suspect that may not be a suspect. Sounds like the person of interest has been released. So let's get on with it. Let's move on. Let's move on. Let's go ahead. Ooh, I didn't get clearly I have. I set this all up, and then, you know, I get these problems. Now I gotta find out which one is mine. Hold on a second. You do not want my email up. Let's move that out of the way. Okay. Sorry, guys. I didn't have it set up, and I needed to set it up, but I didn't want you guys having my my email all up in your face. Let's see. Is this it? No, that's not it. That's my notes. Those are my notes for the show. What the hell? Like, where the hell is this? What am I on? Why does it keep defaulting to my Gmail? I do not want my Gmail. Good gracious, guys. Give me a second. I'm sorry. It's my fault. Of course it is. It's always my fault. There we go. I can't today. Today feels like a manic Monday. I'm so sleep deprived, folks. I am seriously sleep deprived. So anyways, let's catch up on the facts of this case now that you guys are all here. And for the people that may not be as familiar with this case as many of you guys may be. So Nancy Guthrie is 84 years old, and she's the mother of today's show, the Today's Show host, Savannah Guthrie. She lives on the northern edge of Tucson, Arizona, in a home that is now being treated, unfortunately, as a crime scene. Authorities say she was last seen the night of January 31st when she had dinner with her daughter Annie and her son-in-law Tommaso, and she was dropped off at her home. And we actually have the specific date, the specific time that the garage went up, and it was at 9:48, closing at 9:50. However, sometime overnight, investigators believe someone came into the house, disabled and or removed the front doorbell camera, which we've now got photos of. And I believe those photos, oops, I hit the wrong one, are on your screen as we speak. So there is the masked intruder that we believe is responsible for this. I'm almost confident he's responsible for this because this was prior to blood being observed on the ground. Investigators believe this man came into the house and forcibly took Nancy. By midday the next day, deputies are on scene finding blood at or near the front porch. That has been confirmed by law enforcement as being blood associated and attributed with Nancy. The FBI has joined the case and is now offering $50,000 as a reward for any information that brings her home or identifies those who are responsible. Officially, as of this week, the Pima County Sheriff's Department have said that they've named no suspects, they've identified no vehicles, and they're combing through hundreds of leads, tips, and surveillance photos, both provided publicly and through social media coverage. Now, you asked for the latest developments on Tommaso and other Guthrie family members, so let's separate what is documented from what is rumor. Public record reporting confirms that Annie Guthrie and her husband Tommaso Cioni were allegedly the last people that saw Nancy alive after dinner and after driving her home. Sheriff Chris Nanos, which we've come familiar with, we're not going to say a whole lot about him personally, but he did tell the New York Times that Cioni drove Nancy home. So we know that Cioni is one of the last people to physically see his mother-in-law before she was abducted. This makes him automatically a key witness and a focus for police reconstruction of timeline. Investigators have since conducted at least a second search of Annie and Tommaso's Arizona home yesterday, and it was documented well with news crews noting multiple investigators on scene. Earlier in the week, we had a vehicle towed. We had officers go into Tommaso and Annie's home to take photos and collect other items. And so officials have not said publicly why they went back, but the second warrant style search usually means that they're either chasing down forensic leads or think that there's trace DNA, transfer evidence, fiber, digital devices, or other things that will expand the scope of this investigation. Now, we have to remember that the mother was there, and clearly this mother was abducted. This grandmother was abducted out of her home. So those other investigations might be because she was at the home. Maybe they don't know if somebody was following them. Maybe they don't know. Thank you so much, Craig Blaze. We appreciate that. Maybe you just, we just don't know. And they were going out to see if there was any cars in the area, any unusual people that they don't normally see in the area. A secondary combing of information. Maybe not every neighbor was home. Maybe they were able to get a little more information, look at a couple of different areas of places. On the media side, outlets like Parade and others notate that journalist Ashley Banfield has claimed and cited law enforcement source that Tommaso may be, of course, she covers her butt, a prime suspect. And I want to remind you guys, this took the investigation and the public opinion rule on, it was all for clicks and views, in my opinion. I don't know if she had this lead. I think that when you're in the biz for so long, you just have reasonable expectations, understandings of how crimes work, expectations and understanding how law enforcement works. I think that when you have been in the business long enough, you can make calculated guesses. And in my opinion, I believe this was a calculated guess, either by her or her source. Okay. I don't think that there was any stock in it, because to me, it didn't seem like local law enforcement, the people investigating this case, were really putting a lot of stock in it. Remember, even the FBI was looking at the ransom angle, and now we know why. Look at what we're dealing with here. This is scary. This is scary stuff. Let's be honest. This is pretty stinking scary. So, with her may be prime suspect in this investigation, but they also point out that there hasn't been a lot of verified information from official statements from the sheriff or the FBI. Other coverage included a strongly worded piece in the Daily Mail or the Daily Beast, quoting investigators, emphasizing that there is no suspect and pushing back on Banfield's framing. Even we discussed her statements, and we cautioned our own audience, please don't dive into this. Let's keep our mind open. We weren't ready to entertain this. Yes, we looked at this. Yes, we side-eyed the family because we know the statistics here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Breaking: TMZ received another letter. We're getting breaking news. Let's pause our update real quick. We're getting some information that we have breaking news. TMZ received another letter. Where is this? Okay, why I get so frustrated with Google. Google is shit anymore. You can't find anything good on Google. You need a search, don't go to Google. I'm just going to tell you that it's getting awful. TMZ received another ransom. All right, let's see what we got here. Okay, let's bring this out. Get this. Thank you. Okay, we're hearing TMZ has received another ransom letter. Let me move this down so you guys can see it. Thank you. Make sure this is a little too big for my liking. Let's gift box. Let's just get this a little bit smaller. Maybe bring it down right there. There we go. Okay, so we're hearing that TMZ has received another ransom letter related to Nancy Guthrie case, but this time coming from someone who wants 1 Bitcoin in return for information on her whereabouts. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. It doesn't sound like... Wow, this is interesting. It looks like it's on Fox News. Let's go to YouTube. See if we can get it out somewhere on YouTube. TMZ receives seven days ago. Nothing is breaking. Oh. I don't see it anywhere but on here. They say Harvey Levin has received a note on Guthrie. So let me write that. TMZ note on Guthrie. Okay. I seriously hate at this point. I hate Google. It does nothing for you. Good gracious. I think we're going to have to get another search engine. I can't do this anymore with Google. You can't get shit on Google. By the time it hits Google, it's already too late. It used to be so opposite of that. So let's try it again. TMZ receives note on Guthrie. Is anybody, is it in the chat? I'd really like to. All right, we're going to have some rules here. If we're going to put something in, there we go. Okay, thank you. We need to put it, tell me to go to chat, please, because I'm spending a lot of time looking for stuff that's already in chat. They know who the kidnapper. TMZ host Harvey Levin reveals on Fox News Channel, The American Newsroom, that his outlet received a third alleged ransom note in relation to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. They said they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address, and they have put it, time is more than relevant, so we have no idea whether it's real or not, but they are making a demand. So it sounds like a few minutes ago, a letter was received by TMZ asking for those people that are just tuning in, 1 Bitcoin, not $6 million in Bitcoin, literally 1 Bitcoin. So that's where we're at. So I don't know. Is this real? Is it not real? I really don't know. I really don't know. Savannah Guthrie's husband breaks silence on mother-in-law Nancy. Oh, we're watching this. Hold on, let me take this off for you guys. Sorry. I'm reading so much that there we go. So we're hearing, so for those that are just coming in, we're hearing that TMZ received a third ransom letter. And the third letter is basically stating, give me 1 Bitcoin and I'll tell you where her whereabouts are. This is pretty interesting. And I want to remind people, extortion is extortion, even if it's only 1 Bitcoin. So, I mean, I'd hate for somebody to be charged with a federal crime for trying to be funny, but extortion is extortion, okay? And I'm not seeing, no, it's on your screen right here. I did confirm it with Mike Ruiz, which is a Fox News camera guy. He's out there right now, so he did put this on his account that big news. It's been received 10:19 this morning. It seems like TMZ received it, or at least it started breaking that it was received. And then we have another statement from Mike, which is another, again, a trusted journalist in the field. And he says, this is the statement that he has. Actually, let me go ahead and put this up here. Oh, it's not letting me send it. So let me just read it to you. It says, they know who the kidnapper, I guess who the kidnapper is. But that's what they wrote. They put it in, quotations. So that must be what was in the, there you go. You guys can see that this is from Mike Ruiz. And it says, TMZ host Harvey Levin revealed on Fox News Channel at the American Newsroom, which is what you're seeing right here. This is the American Newsroom. That on his outlet that he received a third ransom note in relation to the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. They said that they want 1 Bitcoin sent to a Bitcoin address that we have confirmed is active. It's a real Bitcoin address, and as they put it, time is more than relevant. So we have no idea whether this is real or not, but they are making the demand. They are making the demand. I know it sounds pretty stupid, but I believe if they do know who it is and they're making them pay one Bitcoin for the money, then that's extortion. 1 cent would be extortion. So getting back to the Nancy Guthrie case, now that we heard that information and got the stuff from it, let's get back to what we know to be true in the Nancy Guthrie case. We're going to be breaking that down. The rest of the Guthrie family, NPR and other reports that the family has released several emotional videos, messages pleading for Nancy's safe return and ending with the same phrase, bring her home. Savannah herself has appeared on air asking for proof of life and for whoever has her mother to let her go, while stressing that the family is cooperating with law enforcement and simply desperate for answers. There is no public statement from the authorities naming any family member as a suspect at this time. So that's kind of where we are in this whole show so far. Now we're going to go through some other criteria and videos that we know of. Many of you know yesterday this was probably the biggest news that we had yesterday. The release of this masked intruder. This scared all of us. I can tell you, I worry. You know, my heart went straight to the fear that this beautiful little 84-year-old lady, this frail woman, must have been going through with a sight like this. This had to have been very scary for her, and my heart hurts. My heart hurts for that. It's sad. It's just sad. But a man detained was released, and so we do have statements from this guy to Fox News, and I wanted to make sure we have this. I don't think this is on. This is just Fox News update right now, so then we'll get to the statements.
Fox News alert overnight. Police.
What happened here? Oh.
With the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie.
And just a few hours ago, local and federal officials wrapping up a court-ordered search at a home in Rio Rico, Arizona. That's about an hour away from Nancy Guthrie's house in Tucson and about 15 miles from the U.S.-Mexico border.
This all comes after the FBI released home security video of an armed and masked man approaching Guthrie's home the night she was abducted 11 days ago.
So that is kind of your update with this. And then we get to the man. Here he is. I posted the wrong guy. I think I posted his dad. Dad's not looking too well. Dad been in jail for saying it. Bad, Leroy Brown, right? So this is the gentleman that was arrested. They found his vehicle. They stopped his vehicle. They made the arrest. They went into his house. They did a search, and they took him down to the sheriff's office for hours and hours and hours. And this is him finally making it home, and the reporters swarming him to ask him what happened.
Were you shocked?
Oh, yeah, I was.
Tell me.
Come on, like, what do you expect me to do? ¿Cómo quieres que reaccione cuando algo pasa así? Pero yo no sé qué.
Okay, I don't understand what he says when he's speaking Spanish. But either way, the sound, the echoing is not from us, it's from them.
Me agarraron como si fuera un criminal, me secuestraron. They held me against my will. They didn't read me my rights until 2 hours later. Okay? You know, my wrist is all fucking swollen.
From
the handcuffs. Like,
and did you have any idea
No.
that this was about
No.
him? And do you know who Nancy Guthrie
No.
is?
That's the problem. No, I don't know anything.
You were like, where is this coming from?
How did they come up on you?
I don't know.
Like, what, were you just driving around?
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah, they said you were delivering DoorDash.
I just realized we have almost 1,000 people in chat, and we only have 196 likes, folks. What the hey? Do me a solid and go out there and thumbs up. We don't charge anything. You know, people do support this channel financially, and we're very, very appreciative, but it's never required or expected. But the one thing that keeps the lights on here is those thumbs up, and it's so free for you guys. You don't even have to pay for it. You just go out there and get a thumbs up. You guys have been hanging out here now for almost an hour. We've had 7,000 views on this show so far, and we got 196 likes. Folks, come on now. Whenever you're watching, let me just give you a little social media etiquette training. Whenever you come and hang out with somebody, hit that thumbs up button. That's the only thing that we ever ask of you, is to share and hit a thumbs up button. That's all you had to do to get free content. And we got people out there in the field, on the front lines, multiple news organizations. Plus, we're searching. I was up until almost 2 o'clock in the morning. So just to let you know, those thumbs up buttons keeps my juice going. Okay, I work for those. I work really hard for those. So if you guys could hit the thumbs up button, come back into the chat, let us know what number you are, where you're calling from, or where you're watching from, and also what the temperature is in your area, and let the folks know how the world's temperature is. We have people all over the country, all over the world sometimes in this chat. So it's always nice to know what the temperature is out there in the real world, because we're here in a studio. So let's get back to this.
This.
Dad, burn it.
They were following me. Yeah, they were following me. Miranda. This is Santa Cruz County, and Miranda was down here. It's like, come on, 2 and 2.
And so then when they came up on you, what did they say? Like, what did they say?
Nothing. Literally nothing. They just told me, stop moving. Like, what's your name? Carlos. And that's it. They put me in the cop car.
Wow.
I gotta wait like 2 hours. I waited like 2 hours until the detectives came here and everything.
Oh my God.
And when they finally told you this had to do with some kidnapping, like what were you thinking?
Like, what the fuck am I doing here? I didn't do anything.
I'm sure.
And you don't even know who the lady is. Do you know who Savannah Guthrie is?
No. I don't follow the news.
Right.
I don't watch.
You don't watch the Today Show.
No.
That's warmer.
So
Wow.
this is a complete shock.
It was.
Thank
What
you
kind
guys.
of questions were they asking you?
Nothing. They didn't ask me no questions.
No questions.
Nothing. They
So they
just sat me
took
in the car. They investigated my car and this van, and that's it. They didn't ask me no questions, no nothing.
Did you get the other car
Crazy.
back? Or they still have it?
No, it's right there.
Oh, they gave it back to
Yeah.
you. So,
Yeah, it's like.
and they said you can go home?
Yeah.
And how did they treat like the people you were with, your girl, your child?
I don't speak
Yeah,
about
no, I
that.
understand.
You know what I mean?
How's your family? They
Well, they're all
scared
in
everybody.
shock.
I was going to say, they scared everybody, huh?
Yeah, they're all in shock right now.
Wow.
Did they damage the house? Yeah.
What did he do to the house?
They broke the doors. What else there? The garage door in the back.
So what are you going to do now?
I don't try to clear my name. I didn't do anything. I mean, I hope they get the suspect. Because I'm not it. Hey.
I mean, good. I'm glad he's keeping good spirits, you know. And folks, at the end of the day, people have to follow the lead. Somebody obviously called this in, but you know what? Let's look at this guy. What's one thing that we know? If he fits that profile, look at his nose, look at his eyes, look at his hair, look at the facial, the face hair. You know, there's got to be something that we can get. You know, obviously, it sounds to me like they believe the person wearing that ski mask has hair. What's the one thing Tommaso doesn't have? He doesn't have hair, right? He doesn't have hair on top of his head. He shaves his head. So I noticed how like round it was. I could tell that on the top, it seemed like he had like hair, a lot of hair, you know, because it seemed like there's a lot more hair up there than people might think. And then of course we have we could see the mustache, and we can see, you know, hair coming up. Like he doesn't even have, in my opinion, the hair, because it looked like the hair came up like in a much broader area here. Like this is just a little strip. And look how thick his lip is, his bottom lip. The assailant's bottom lip is not that thick with that hair. So it's him. Somebody's saying it's him. They believe it's him. I still think it's JLR and the fake mustache. Golly, you guys are bad. Hey, you guys think he's the killer, huh? Well, at least one person in here does. Huh. Bet his backpack was a tarp. Ah, interesting. Interesting. And then why, you know, I really think the reason why she was taken, I don't think she was taken because of the ransom. I think she was taken because she was assayed, you know, and I think that there was biological evidence and he needed to get her out of the house. That's what I think. He probably was very, very, I don't know who this guy is, but I believe she was hurt a lot more than people think. My theories are starting to change with this case. It just is.
They better do their job and find the suspect that did it so they can clear my name. I'm done. Just look at what I'm putting my family through.
You're on
not just
national
them.
news now.
Not just them. Even my parents in Tucson. Yeah.
And your mother-in-law was worried about you. She was saying it doesn't look anything like you.
Yeah, see? That's what I'm telling you guys. Like, what the fuck? Come
Why
on.
do you think they came here? Why do you think they came to you?
If I would have known that answer, I would have given it to you. But I don't.
So you have no idea what led them to you? Nothing. They
He has no idea.
Car make.
I wonder if it's somebody that didn't like him calling him in. Oh, I know it's him. It looks just like him. Just being a dick. Just being a dick. That's scary. But, it's clearly not Tommaso in the footage. However, the person was clearly sent there by. I'm not sure if I believe that either, Tom. Unfortunately, this is what I kind of think. Because of the behavior, I keep analyzing, going back to that footage of the video, because the stills, okay, yeah, you need to get a close up of trying to get the eyes and some other things that we might be able to see in there. But it's his behavior when we see him moving around the front porch, not realizing that there's a camera there. This is what's really making me feel that this is unconnected. If you've been watching me for any significant time, that I think that's at the beginning that somebody that knew her was responsible for this. And then I got an opportunity, as many of America did, a rare opportunity to see this person in action, to actually see their movements, see how they behaved. And you could tell that they were ultra shocked to see a Ring doorbell camera. And that, to me, is very indicative of somebody unfamiliar with the home. The way that they were walking, it looked like it was pitch black, and they had this mouth camera, or this mouth light, and they would flick it on and flick it off, and use it to try to see at night. And we see other things as well. This is not the only weird thing going on. There have been other people, including a person that kind of matches the suspect's description, or the subject's description, that was observed at an apartment complex not too far from there, trying to peek through windows in a reflective type of jacket. So there are other things that are unrelated to this family. And I think that people, because of the family, people jumped that it had to have been a personal attack on this family. But now that I'm seeing this monster move around, he looked very unfamiliar with this home. And I can't dismiss that. I've been doing this for a while. I'm not perfect at what I do. I do have room for error. I have always have room for improvement too, right? But what I observe for me personally, in my opinion, this person was very comfortable moving around at night, but he didn't appear to be very familiar with this property. So that tells me that this is probably a seasoned burglar or somebody that does this. And maybe, again, I think that it comes down to he assaulted her. And she had to leave with him because he could not leave till that may tell me another part about him. He might be a criminal in the system, where his DNA is already in the system. We got to be looking at other angles. We can't just keep focusing on the family. One, it's not fair to the family, but two, there truly are other people out there that, now that we see this masked intruder, that it could be. And we have to look at those. And I think it's unfair. Now that we see this person, we're all agreeing that this has nothing. This is not Tommaso. This is not Annie. People are trying to say that this is a bandmate. I told you guys yesterday, I'm not confident with that either. I'm not confident with that either. And God knows that bandmate may be over in Italy. Like, no possibility of being able to do this. Maybe he is here, but maybe he's not. Maybe he was out of state when all of this happened. Maybe he has a rock solid alibi. There's no sense of urgency in this moment. A stranger surely would move with urgency. He was shocked at the camera because they didn't tell him about the one beforehand. He was hired. It's definitely, I mean, there are a lot of possibilities that it could be. And just because this does make sense doesn't remove all other possibilities. So I agree that there could be a higher, but I'm not seeing it. I'm just not seeing it, Tom. I mean, we have to apply Occam's razor here, okay? And we have to constantly remind ourselves and our showgoers that Occam's razor, like we can assume a lot of stuff, but we have to put assumptions in our theories, not facts, in order to get there. And even you are having to put theories in there to get to your fact that he was hired. There's no connection. You've made no connection. I mean, I'm throwing this out there. I'm not attacking you in any way. I just want to make sure that's clear. But we can always look at somebody and say, oh, this person was hired, this person. But where's the connection? You see, we have to assume a lot. What we don't have to assume a lot for is we've got a masked intruder on the outside of a home with a light in their hand and their movements as if they have done this before. Okay, we can tell that this is a dumbass because he doesn't even have the proper holster for the gun that he's carrying around. So it doesn't seem like this is a well-trained operative, if you ask me. There's a lot of key factors here that are making me Occam's razor. Yeah, it's Occam's. I think it's OCC, Occam's razor. I think it's spelled like this, but it might be something else. That's kind of, if I recall correctly, how the proper, but you should look it up. You should look it up, Occam's razor. And you can apply that. I mean, go to, in today's world with ChatGPT and Perplexity and Gemini and God knows the other multitude of AI stuff, you don't even need to really guess. You can educate yourself in a lot of different fields by using some of those tools to help you and help break stuff down. And so I utilize tools because I'm not smarter than a fifth grader. I know that I'm not smarter than a fifth grader. So I'm like, anything that's going to help me cut through the BS and get right to brass tacks, I'm going to use. So I've plugged all of this stuff in. I've even plugged the photos of the assailant, the photos of Tommaso. We looked at his dad. That's one of the first people. He's bad dude. But at the end of the day, we've got to have these people that appear to be connected, and there's no connection. And yeah, we can assume, oh yeah, there's going to be a connection. We're going to find it, but it's still an assumption. You see, it's not factual. So while I get your point that he's got to be the one and he had to be hired, in reality, we've got nothing that supports that just yet. So yeah, it's an opinion and it's perspective, and we appreciate it, Tom. But it's not quite there yet. It's just definitely in the theory stage. And we do have multiple theories, and one that the family hired somebody to take the grandmother out. But I'm looking at all of this and I see something different now that we, because I've been doing this for a while. That's my thing as well. I keep going back there. Why? Why do we keep going back to her house, her street, her neighbors? We do have an answer on that. So the reason, in my opinion, that they're going back to that house is because I think they're trying to support or eliminate a stalking theory. How did this person know the movements of the family? Did this person know the movements of this family, or was this just a opportunistic break-in that went terribly wrong, which is one of the least supported at the time, but now with this video could potentially be more supported. I'm not sure. I feel differently now that we see the video. I feel differently. We've been doing this for a long time. We've seen terrible cases before us. We've seen horrible people, horrible children that have killed their parents, horrible parents that have killed their children. We've covered a lot on this channel, over the years. But when we get good, hard, cold facts and we can see that something different than what we originally thought happened, it changes the playing field. Okay? This family has opened up their home to law enforcement without a warrant. Those go to real, those check mark boxes that we need to have. Yeah, this is ultra suspicious, but again, this was prior to us seeing the movements of the assailant. Now that we see the movements of the assailant, what brought him into the house? What if he was never there to rob? What if he was never there to abduct or for a ransom? What if it was just simply he's a sexual deviant and he wanted to break into the house? And once he realized who he had, things changed. There is a lot of motivation here, and we need to eliminate those possibilities, in my opinion, before we jump to destroying family that are already going through pure hell, And if there was a little nibble of possibility that it was the family at this point, I would be right there with you guys wanting to, apply more pressure to this family. But honestly, I'm not there anymore. I'm really not. And to apply pressure to this family is awful, because I truly believe they are a victim of all of this, all three of the kids, until further notice, right? Until we get something that comes into our wheelhouse that removes this, and maybe puts Tommaso or Annie back on the table. But right now they're off. And I think people need to understand that. And it's because of real life evidence, okay? Not because of our opinions, not because of how we feel. Things changed when we got to see the behaviors of that assailant. And the bottom line is that assailant didn't know where the bushes were, needed lights to try to find bushes, to try to find something to hide the camera. That tells me totally unfamiliar with this home. Totally unfamiliar with this home. And the fact that he had a shitty holster with this semi-automatic gun in a revolver holster shows the just how idiotic this person is. Not a professional that I would expect from millionaires. Just saying. Okay? I see what I see. I'm not here to convince you. You have your own opinions. I can only speak for myself and what I feel is true. And I'm going to tell my audience that for them to pick up their thoughts. I present everything to you. You're going to have your own opinions. Take what you will from it. But these are my opinions on this case. When the release of this assailant, this masked assailant, it changed things for me for a variety of reasons. Let's get back here. This right here, let me pause this real quick. Hold on. Give me just a second. Let me get to where I can pause. Why is this not up there? It's not bringing me my pause button. Dad burn it. Okay, well, I might have to do this manually. Of course, we have a little bit of problems here and there. Let's see the properties. Okay, we got that. Let's go to this. There we go. Okay, now I've got it. So let me pause this. Let's go back to this one. Yeah, that's it. It's this one. Look at the top, okay? You see that? See how round it is? Okay? That tells me the man has hair. Lots of hair. All right? That to me tells me this guy has hair. He looks like a punk. He walks like a punk. He doesn't walk like a professional hitman. He doesn't walk like a professional abductor. He walks like a professional criminal. That's what he walks like to me. Okay? He's a creeper. Right. So that's and until now, there might be some information that comes out that says, okay, this changes things. This might move us to a different area. I get that. and we'll monitor that. And we'll change, just like we thought it was the family. You know, we were side-eyeing some people. We were kind of being, arm's length. We were making sure we weren't accusatory, but we were saying all the reasons why it could be this person or not be this person, or how it could be other people. We never kept all of our eggs in one basket in this case, because this one defies logic, and quite frankly, it could be a multitude of things. We just haven't gotten enough information to solidify one bucket to be really focusing on. So we've got several buckets going. Tommaso Cioni is Nancy's son-in-law, married to her daughter, Nancy Guthrie. The sheriff Nanas told New York Times that Cioni may have been the last person to see Nancy. He reportedly drove her home after dinner and ensured she was inside her home. Search warrants have been provided by the family, searches as well as warrants have been involving the family. When we saw the 3 officers go into Annie Guthrie's home, that was a voluntary. They didn't have to get warrants for that. So that shows you their willingness to help investigators, and that goes a long way in our book. Investigators have conducted at least 2 canvassing searches of their home. One yesterday, right after this masked man was provided to all of us. And I truly believe that had something to do with the fact that maybe they were seeing if anybody was watching their home. I don't know that this is a canvas because they think Annie or her husband are suspects. I'm sorry. I just don't believe, with this new, these new images, I have to assume that law enforcement, as soon as they saw this, moved Annie and her husband way down on that list with the rest of the family. I have to believe that because, again, we've been doing this a long time. And we've all agreed that this right here is not Tommaso. Okay, give me a second. It's not Tommaso. So if it's not Tommaso, who the hell is it? I'm not on board with that either, unfortunately. We're getting to it. I've got it up on the next thing, but the bandmate. I know everybody's is talking about this bandmate. I'm not on board with that either. The bandmate looks much thinner than this guy here. This guy looks thicker. I don't know where they're getting tall and slender. This guy does not look tall and slender. He looks stocky to me. He looks stocky. Just my opinion. He looks stocky to me. This guy doesn't even look like his build to me, to be honest with you, if you want my truth. Oh, sorry.
Border. The subject, they called him, they were questioning in the Nancy Guthrie investigation, has been released. He is now out of custody.
It's
and
not him.
Apparently, I had interviewed his mother-in-law, and maybe she was insisting that he wasn't involved and that this was all a big mix-up. And it seems that she may have been right because he is out of custody. He's walked out. He's back at the house. And I can't believe it. I mean, this story has taken so many twists and turns.
It has.
And I think we all thought, maybe there was hope for progress tonight. And
we were all hopeful that they would bring it back. There was even a couple news people that went up to the hospital because there was an air flight to the hospital, and many people thought it might be Nancy Guthrie coming home and healthy and having to go to the hospital. And come to find out, it was unrelated. We don't know where Nancy is, and we don't know who that person is on her camera, folks. This is as serious and as sad as it gets. I feel bad for the Guthrie family, but I do not believe it's family members at this moment. I do not believe that this was a hoax. I do not believe that this was an abduction, ordered by the family. What you're looking at here, guys, is much different. I wish I could express it into words and provide you. I'm just going to keep providing you guys receipts until you guys start looking into this a little bit deeper, because I truly, I've lost the, burn it, I get so tired when it does that. I've lost the thought process that it's the family at this point with everything I've seen. It's changed things a lot, folks. It really has. And I understand some people are still stuck on the family, and I'm not going to, you're going to have to move forward in your own time. You're going to have to, we'll just keep coming back here. Everybody, once I've been guilty of the same thing. Once I've got my theory and I just know it has to be true, it's so hard to get off the theory. And so I've learned, and even myself, just, training myself, case after case after case, to learn to let the ones that just don't make sense or don't make sense anymore go. As hard as it is, going back to the square one, starting it all over again sucks. Let's be honest, it sucks. But at the end of the day, we still have to do it. And our theory that it was the son-in-law doesn't hold water, folks. At least right now, that the wind out of that sail has died. Okay, we have to go back to the drawing board. Could it be him again? It might be, but not right now. Okay, he's off the table right now. So now we got to go back to the drawing board and find out if there's any connection again, bringing him back to the table. But right now, there is none. We can't manufacture opinions to justify what our feelings might be. We have to follow fact, and facts are leading us different directions. Okay, maybe it's going to take you guys, but this is where I'm seeing this case go. I can't change the way I'm looking at this case, because we have procedures behind the scenes here too. We just don't willy-nilly do stuff. We have procedures behind the scenes here. And when somebody's off the list, somebody's off the list. I shouldn't say off the list, down on the list. I don't believe anybody ever really, until somebody's arrested and charged with a crime, I don't believe anybody ever truly comes off the list. They just go down to the bottom of the list. This one here is down at the bottom of the list. I don't believe Tommaso did this. Okay? I really don't. And unfortunately, it's just my opinion, and that doesn't equate to your opinion. So we're just going to keep, going through what we found. And if your opinion changes, it does. If it doesn't, well, it doesn't. You are allowed to think for yourself. Okay, it doesn't mean that we have to, agree on this, but we're going to still keep talking about the facts and what those facts mean to us. Okay.
And it sounds like they may have had the wrong guy, and he's now out of jail.
And remember, in Charlie Kirk's assassination, remember they picked up a person of interest that was also let go, and that was after Kash Patel said, we got him. And it stirred up this major controversy, because we come to find out they didn't have him. They had a person of interest that didn't pan out, and they had to cut him loose. And guess what? We all thought, it's going to be somebody that was helped them, that did this and did this and did this. And it wasn't. It was just not the right guy. And it sounds like this is kind of that situation where they picked up a guy that wasn't the right guy. So I think that, the next time they picked up the guy, it was the right guy. So hopefully the next guy they pick up, it's going to be the right guy. So, but I don't know who this is. I see everybody bringing up the bandmate. Could it be? Yeah, of course it could be. It could literally, we have a whodunit here, folks. Whodunit. We have a classic whodunit case right here. Okay? The people we thought don't look like they're good for it. So now it's time to start figuring out who looks good for it. So at least one vehicle has been towed from their property and the broader family orbit under warrant. So we have to remember the car was under warrant. However, their home, the investigation of their home with the flashlights and stuff, or the camera lights and stuff like that, remember, that was all voluntary. They gave him permission to go in the house and to do that. So the media framing of Tommaso, Ashley Banfield, of course, stated that she has an impeccable, trusted law enforcement source that pointed the finger right at the son-in-law. Well, I can tell you right now, with this new evidence, it surely takes the focus off him, at least in my eyes. And I have to think any good He is so exhausted. Oh, good gracious! Well, look at Jonathan. I mean, you know how I feel about that. It's a love-hate relationship. But he was out there. One of his lives were 11 and a half hours, and he was already on a live because I plugged in at like 2:30 in the morning. I fell asleep around midnight, and then I woke up at 2:30 and figured what's going on. So I plugged in. He was still going at 2. I don't know how he did it, but he had like I don't know, like an 18-hour, 20-hour day. That's insanity. That's insanity. I think everybody out there is exhausted. And that poor woman, there was a camera lady out there. Tiny little thing, but she's tall and she got blonde hair. And I got to tell you, man, she was rolling. Like she put that camera up on her shoulder and she's running after the cops. And I'm like, man, that's got to be hit heavy. And I watched her do that for freaking hours. And I'm just like, her feet, her legs. Oh my goodness. It's different when you have a camera or even a light tripod with a camera on it, like your phone camera on it. But to have like video equipment and be running up and down roads and trying to follow, the cops with this big old camera, news camera. That was insanity. That poor girl. She got her workout though. I felt so bad for her. But it's all exhausting. But yeah, Brian definitely looks really, really exhausted.
And we'll see what happens tomorrow. So an update, you guys. The guy who was detained this evening.
Okay, so now you guys know we don't have the guy. So. Let's see, where are we here? This is Ashley Banfield. This is the movements. I need him moving. Let's see if this is him moving.
Bear them.
Yeah.
In Tucson. So whomever purchased
I'm
that
sorry.
or got his hands, and yes, the FBI is calling it a him. That's going to be a memorable moment. It's an unusual purchase.
Everybody said there's a tattoo on him. I don't think there's a tattoo on him. I think that's a watch. I think that's a watch. I really do. I think that's a watch. But it tells us something very important about the guy. You know what it tells us? He's right-handed. Why? Because that's the hand he's using to block the camera. So we have a right-handed younger man, and I think he's either black or brown. So he's either Hispanic or black, African-American, which I don't think people like being called African-American. That's what I've been told, but I don't know. So we're just going to use the words that I say. I'd prefer American, non-American, but this is the society we live in this day and age. So black and brown community, it seems like, just by the features that I've seen in looking at images that are night vision, it doesn't look like we're dealing with a light-skinned person is basically, could it, I get so frustrated with this. My system's not working like it's supposed to work today. So every time I hit a button, it puts me in a different scene. So I don't have a whole lot more for you than this. Who is it? I don't know. I really don't know. Let's see if we got any other things. In my production notes here. Hold on here. AP reports social media is flooded with posts about Nancy's disappearance. Platforms like TikTok, Instagram, X, Facebook, YouTube have seen millions of views on contents about the case. The rumors targeting Tommaso and the family. I just, guys, listen. I of all people, Bullhorn Betty has no problem accusing people. I have no problem showing up at people's homes with my bullhorn. I have no problem advocating, protesting, just normal commentary and coverage of cases. I have no problem, okay? If anybody knows me, I'm not bashful. I'm very brash when push comes to shove. When I stand on my hill, I stand on my hill, very strongly. And you guys have watched me do that for years. This is not a black male. There are some features. I don't necessarily disagree with that, but there are some features that I see that would hit that it could be. I know that it's not a fair-skinned person, is the point I'm trying to make. Okay, so that simply said, it's not a fair-skinned person. It's not vanilla. Okay, we got caramel, chocolate, milk chocolate. I don't know what flavor you want. I'm just saying it ain't Nilla. Okay, that's all I'm saying. It's not Nilla. That's all. So you just got to worry because people are so highly offended this day and age. You can't even speak. It's insane. I don't like walking on eggshells when I have audience. I like just being able to come here and just speak and not have to worry about it. But good gracious. So longtime kidnapper extortion negotiator tells AP that speculation on X and other platforms is complicating matters for the family and hindering the police. And I do believe that because I believe some of these ransoms weren't even from the assailant. I think there's something more here with the assailant. I think the focus of this attack was much different than we're focusing on. I truly believe that we're going to find out that there's a sexual assault motivation or motivator in this crime somewhere. I don't know why I'm feeling that now, but I kind of feel that. That's not a brother. Okay, well, thank you. Thank you for the update. I appreciate it. So I'm just not sure. I know that it's not. I know that it's. This is difficult, and I know we have a lot of opinions on who it could be, folks, but I'm really cautioning you guys. Do what you will, have your opinions. I just think that if you keep focusing on Tommaso, you're going to be sorely mistaken, and you're going to miss a lot of cues and clues of the assailant, who the assailant might be. That's just my point with it. I'm saying he doesn't have. I don't like that, Simpson. Please be cognizant of your speech in the chat. If somebody can delete that, I'd greatly appreciate it. I don't like that being in the chat. Chris Badega said that he's a right-handed and was wearing a pair of gloves and the pair of throwaway gloves as well. So he thinks that there's gloves and then latex gloves over the gloves. And this is all supportive. Is there any SA men near her? Marianne, let's see. Hold on. Let's find out. Where would be the easiest way? The background report. Hold on. Let me look in the background report. We do have history. So Nancy Guthrie, here we go. Let's see what we've got for RSOs in the area. I know they used to give us RSOs. Yes, RSOs. Here we go. We have a few. We have. Ooh. We have McBride on Campbell. We have DeLuna on Sieg, North Sieg. We have a Carlos on Fremont. We have about 8 in the area, so they would have been able to clear these people very, very. Marion doesn't really give a place, just Tucson for him. Zumont, 15th Ave. We got Sneezer, Roger Road. We got Gira, just Tucson. We have Welsh on Haven. So we do have, I've got about 8 here right in the vicinity. Now, do we have more kind of going out further? Let me just see what we got. Do I have an option for Tucson? So we do have about 8 in her general vicinity. So there, does any of it, hold on, let me look at the photos and see if any of them look like somebody we're looking for. McBride has no image. DeLuna looks too old. Orthan, or Carlos, looks too white. He's too fair. Marion, in my opinion, is too dark. We do have Zumont. Zumat. But it looks like his palette is 15s, the teens. But he does physical appearance 5'8", 185 pounds. This one's interesting. Let me see if I can, I don't know if I can put this up on the, because it has his address on here. Attempted luring of a minor under 15 for SE. But he has hair on the top of his head. He wears glasses, though. So the person didn't wear glasses. So Sneezer is too old. Guerra is too old. Welsh is too white. So, you know, yeah, there's some around her, but none that... Oh, good gracious. Oh, good gracious. None that we can attribute directly to... Let's keep going. See what we got here.
It's an unusual order.
See, look. They don't know what they're looking for. They're looking around with their light because they don't know where they're at. They don't even realize there's no plants there that they can pull anything from, but he's looking for something to hide or cover up that camera.
That order might
This is
be able
not
to be
somebody,
traced.
look at, this is not somebody that's familiar with this home. Okay?
It's a significant...
He's searching around. He doesn't know what the hell he's looking for.
Significant balaclava because it's got a pattern. And
he's like, okay, well, here's something. I can pull this up. Okay? So, folks, this is not somebody that I attribute... Damn it. I'm going to go first. Go crazy. We need to close this show down. I need to cut this off. This is going to be one of those things where he just to me, I've been doing this a long time, watched a lot of stuff. This guy doesn't look like he's familiar with this house. Okay, at all. If you want my truth. I'm not seeing him being familiar with this home. Okay, that's just my personal opinion. You guys are going to have yours, but that's just mine. Okay, I can't talk about something that I don't believe. So I don't believe that this is associated with the family. Therefore, I'm not going to keep beating the family over the head with the club, you know, bringing them back in. If we get a nibble that this guy's connected to a family member somewhere, well, then we're going to come all in. But right now, we're not seeing that. And I've been trying to express that in words for the last few days is that, you know, I hear a lot of people talking about Tommaso, but, you know, we're looking at something here and Tommaso's just not fitting either. Could it be? Yeah, of course it could be. But we have a lot of people that fit a profile. Well, now that profile is gone. Why is that profile gone? Because I physically see how this man is behaving. That's why that profile is gone. When we had no known idea who this person was, when we couldn't see him, couldn't say, oh, this is the guy. We had a phantom person that we had to make real. Now we got a real person that we have to identify. Big difference here. Big difference here. So now that we've identified this man, we can see his behavior. Now we know he's not connected to the house. Why do we know he's not connected to the house? Because he doesn't look like he knows where he's at. He doesn't know, he's not prepared for this specific home. If he was hired, he would be prepared for this specific home. He is not prepared for this specific home. That tells me he's a professional. It tells me he's done this before, but it tells me he's unknown to this property. That's what it's telling me. Now, again, that's for me. I'm not you. Only you are you. So you're going to have to look at the totality of the information you're getting, and you're going to have to try to remove some of your biases that were implanted in your brain by Ashley Banfield. Okay? And then go back and look at this case from a bird's eye view and start nudging back into the case. Go back to remove the family. The family, just keep them out of it for right now because you need to focus just on the facts of this case. Where does that lead you? If it leads you back to the family, then you're good. But if it doesn't lead you back to the family and it leads you someplace else, well, then you know yourself, the family is not a party to this, okay? They're victims of this, desperately trying to find their family member. Can you imagine being in a situation like this and you screaming from the rooftops, even having the assailant and people are still pounding you over the head when you had nothing to do with it? I can't do that to somebody, okay? I can't do that to somebody. So I just want you guys to understand that there are alternative theories here that hold a little more weight now that we see this, okay? And unfortunately and fortunately, Tommaso's out right now. The whole family is out. This is not a family member. We've all agreed with that. Now we're having to assume that a family member hired them. I'm not willing to make that leap because everything that we were told about this family ends up not being true. They're not a horrible family. They're actually a very sweet, kind, ginger family. One that her daughter lives near her to make sure she's taken care of, you know, and that has been used as a weapon against that daughter as some type of thing. We need to take a step back. Clearly we were up the wrong alley. Okay. Now we have a correction. We have a great opportunity to correct ourselves and to correct this case. And we need to make sure that we're accusing the right people. Guys, this stuff here can really hurt somebody. They lost their mother and being accused of doing terrible things to their own mother. Okay, if there was support for it, yeah, we would apply the pressure there. But there's no support for this right now. And for us to apply pressure in an area where there's no support for it, we're being the terrorists. We're the ones hurting this family. And I'm not going to get on board with that. So perhaps an undocumented immigrant, that's where it's starting to lean a little bit. Unfortunately, Edward, I'm already starting to hear, you know, information out there in the ether that everybody knows that this is going to ultimately be an illegal alien type of situation. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I'm not there yet either. All I'm there for right now is that I can tell you from everything that I've observed that this person here does not know this home personally. And his behavior shows me he's comfortable. So the only thing that I can attribute to somebody that's comfortable but doesn't know this home means that he's done this before, in my opinion, and this is his nighttime job. Okay? There's something wrong with this guy. This is not the first victim he has, and now we know that this guy has escalated. Okay? So we've had somebody that might have just been a peeping Tom that's now went into burglaries, that's now went into homicides. Okay? So we have an assailant that's escalating. We're going to have a problem with this guy. As you know, many serial killers start out as peeping Toms. So if we don't find this guy, there will be another victim. I'm going to tell you that. That's something I will stand on my hill and say. If we do not find this guy, there will be another victim. Okay? So that's where I'm at in this investigation. I'm off Tomas. Okay? I'm off Tommaso. I'm off Annie. I'm off the family. We're looking at something different here, folks. And I hope that you guys start opening up to that idea, right? You can have your position that Tommaso, but there's, you know, just like law enforcement, you guys have to be able to balance multiple theories here. And maybe there is a theory that it's still Tommaso. Okay, we'll add this theory in that it's not. Because that's where I got. The guy who got arrested says whoever did this definitely not from here. And some kind of South American also, the light issue at night. None in the area. It's perfect area to do this. It is. And it's like the universities and schools, them having, you know, no pew-pews allowed. You're creating an area where it's a soft target and you're sitting ducks. Okay, this is what they're doing to that area. They're putting all these ordinances in that keep their people unsafe. This woman deserved to have lights out in front of her house like everybody else does. She deserved the sanctity of safety in her home and in her neighborhood. And because of a stupid light ordinance, a light pollution ordinance, she gets no lights, she gets no safety, and she's now a victim of crime. The crime that they are inviting into their communities with these stupid laws. I'm sorry. You know, you guys can be pissed off at me. I speak the truth. And if the truth hurts, then that means it's hitting a nerve with you. That means you know yourself. You're wrong for doing this. If something is upsetting you and you can't take constructive criticism, then you might be part of the problem. And I'm sorry to be disrespectful or rude, But at the end of the day, we got most likely a deceased grandmother here. Okay? Over stupid shit. So anyways, this was once again a preventable situation, if not for politics. And I'm getting sick and tired of politics killing so many Americans in this country. Okay? So be mad at Bullhorn Betty, but at the end of the day, we're not the ones making these stupid policies that are risking human beings' lives. Those are the politicians. So anyways, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. God bless each and every one of you. I can only tell you where I stand on this issue. I love you guys. I hope you guys have a great day. Please be vigilant in your own personal life. Look what happened to this woman that was unsuspecting. All right? Please, if you guys got security cameras, pay the frickin' fee. Hook up the subscription, please. Please. Okay, this day and age, even if, you got to take care of yourself. If you don't have a firearm and you don't believe in the Second Amendment, which is your right to do, this is America. You have a right to believe whatever the heck you want to believe, and nobody has a right to make you feel like shit. Please find something to protect yourself in the house, because at the end of the day, it still takes 7 to 9 minutes for emergency vehicles to get you, and that's all it takes to get you going. Just letting you know. God bless you.